Here's a short one, finally. Before this video starts, I'd like to say that it's extremely open to scrutiny since it is very speculative and opinion-based. I'm open to any discussion this video may generate because that's honestly what I want from this, which I'll get into in a bit. There is an album that goes by the name Pale Machine, which was composed by an underground artist by the name Bowen. The most popular song from the album is not the titular track, like the Glow Part 2, but it is instead the one titled My Time. And this is due to it being used in the popular indie game Omori, which I do plan on covering in extensive detail at some point, maybe a year from now. My Time was used in the game's initial trailer, and it was done very intentionally. The song and the game shared many similar themes like dreams, depression, and, dare I say, self-deletion. I had decided to listen to the album in its entirety, and I very much enjoyed it, to the point where I played it in its entirety on 2 occasions during a Discord call I have with my friends every week. After listening to the album, I got thinking, apart from My Time, are there any other songs on this album that share central concerns with Omori? And lo and behold, I thought I struck gold! There were a total of 2 songs that I could justify with my full chest that were sharing these themes. The others would be a bit of a stretch. Nonetheless, I wanted to share what these songs were because I thought it would be cool to point out this link, and because of that discussion element I mentioned before. I haven't been able to find anyone who spoke about the similarities between Pale Machine and Omori. I didn't find a Reddit post, I didn't find any statements from Bowen, nothing from Omocat, and not a single YouTube video. Not even a video going over Omori's iceberg. I had to admit to myself something. My theory was incredibly weak, but it's still pretty cool though. I at least want my video to be the one that starts the discussion though. Hey, maybe it could be added to the Omori iceberg as the Pale Machine theory. We'll just have to wait and see. By the way, before we get into the main content, spoiler alert, although I go over Omori's basic plot, there may be some content in this video communicated in a way that assumes you've already played the game or listened to Pale Machine in its entirety. Plus, Omori is one of those games I'd recommend you play first before watching the video. It just resonated with me that much, so I'm practically giving away a part of my soul. Sunny and his friend Basil share an incredibly dark secret that tears them and their entire friend group apart. The fact that Sunny accidentally caused the death of his older sister Mari, and that Basil naively thought it would be a fantastic idea to help him cover it up as self-inflicted death. Sunny was so guilt-ridden that he was too afraid to admit to himself that it was an accident, and Basil childishly thought that everyone they knew wouldn't understand that what happened was in the heat of a moment, and that they would think very lowly of Sunny. What these children did was extremely messed up, and definitely illegal, but the game doesn't dive into the legal side of things. It focuses more on the ethical aspects. Sunny then develops an alter ego called Omori. Omori is basically a personality created to shield Sunny from the trauma of his sister's death, and it is from Omori's perspective that the game takes place. Most of your time playing is within Sunny's dreams. It's vibrant with color. It's packed full of quirky characters. It's the fact that it barely connects to the main story that it all feels fabricated. It's a distraction from the darkness and grittiness of reality. But it's what's easy for Sunny. In this world, the sins that crawl upon his back are non-existent, but there's something looming in the darkness. He is held once more in his sister's lap, which was described to be such an intimate connection between the two. But there's something hanging from the tree. He can live freely in this world without a single concern, and experience the joy he missed out on with all of his friends, behind him, supporting him in everything that he does. He can look at himself and know that everything is going to be okay. But there's something in the mirror telling him that everything is his fault. As the player, there are ultimately 2 options you could take. Either never admit to your friends what truly transpired on the day of Mari's death, thus letting every ounce of guilt you felt take over you completely, or quite simply, face it head on. The former either results in you moving away and never letting a single soul other than Basil know what you did, or committing an act of self-deletion. The latter has you facing all of your closest friends, the ones affected most by Mari's death, and finally laying all of your cards on the table. Like Undertale, there is no right way to play the game. I think most people who've played the game either got the good ending or the
ending by just playing the game naturally, but that's depending on how you wanted Sunny to progress as a character. But I mean, it's really weird if you wanted a kid to kill themselves, so. All the routes are natural conclusions to the story, and there are way more endings that require you to go out of your way to get them, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Now that the necessary groundwork has been laid out, let's finally start linking Omori to 2 songs from an album that I wish was created specifically for this game. Because it would have been a very cool idea if it was. Starting with the obvious one, many Omori fans know that Bow-in's song, My Time, was used for the initial trailer of the game, as well as the Close Your Eyes ending, and the connections between the lyrics of the song and the game were definitely intentional. To start things off, the original song is about self-deletion. The speaker is caught between fantasy and reality, calling everything a dream, and each moment they spend in that state is suffering, counting the minutes, seconds, or hours that go by while they still suffer. They wonder when it will finally be their time, as stated by the title of the song, and if it takes too long, they'll just take matters into their own hands. This is based on the genius interpretation of the lyrics. The song perfectly describes what a bad-ending Sunny would be experiencing. There are instances in the game where his dreams completely interfere with his reality. Often he is hallucinating visions of his dream world friends IRL, or something appears at unexpected corners regardless of if he's awake or not. Their sheer presence in his life are a reminder of his guilt, making him unable to move on or take more extreme measures to make his pain go away. However, just to cherry pick for a bit, how else could this be interpreted? Oh Yasumi, close your eyes and you'll leave this dream. Oh Yasumi, I know that it's hard to do. That pretty much speaks about Sunny's character arc in its entirety. If Sunny doesn't stop going into the dream world, he'll keep avoiding all of his problems, so in order to finally free himself from grief, he has to make the hardest decisions and leave his fantasies. A world so vibrant with colors and creatures, a world where he gets to see his sister's face and never ever have her resent him for his mistakes. Sacrificing all of that means that he finally gets to move forward. This could also talk about how whenever Sunny has to face any of his fears in the game, he always has to close his eyes for a brief moment so that he can calm down and face his nightmares head on. Then we get, hands of time will wring my neck, every little moment spells regret, but I don't have to feel this way, as a little voice inside my head. The voice is Omori, the titular character. Omori is a reflection of Sunny's grief. If you notice, Omori looks much younger than Sunny, and that's because he's the age he was when Mari died, showing how he is unable to let go of the day's events. He created Omori to be a blank slate that would protect him from the sense of guilt he had. He's a coping mechanism, and that's why it's fitting for him to be the final boss. Once Omori has been conquered, once that crutch is gone, Sunny can start moving forward. As each moment passes, Sunny will feel more and more regret for his actions, but Omori exists so that he doesn't have to feel that way. So again, you need to make the hard decision. Taking the first step to overcoming Omori was realizing that he's not needed anymore, and that his existence would only hurt you and Basil even more. Coming to terms with your actions and atoning for them allow for Omori to have closure and pass on peacefully. Pale Machine is a song that's concerned with loneliness and depression. The speaker appears to have an individual whom they are very fond of, and they imagine that being with this person will bring them fulfillment which they desperately yearn for in life. They feel as if living is mediocre, but with this individual, it could be perfect. They desperately call out, "Hold me, I'm a pale machine." The speaker is empty due to this individual's absence and tries to cling on to this person. Eyes will run tired tears. As tears are a sign of sadness, the speaker has maybe grieved for so long that it's something they've become used to, or they're completely fed up with grieving. Now, this is where things get long. If Pale Machine were really to be connected with Omori, it could potentially be talking about 2 characters, Sunny and Basil. I mean, it straight up says, "Hold me, I'm a pale machine, and I'm lonely with my pale machine." This song could be a reflection of how Sunny yearns for a connection with his sister again. The "Hold me" could refer to how Mari has always held Sunny in her lap, and the game made an effort to explain how intimate these moments were. It's an intimacy Sunny wishes to have again, as he lived in constant self-isolation after Mari's death. The pale machine could just be referring to Omori, a person practically created to be emotionless to hide all of Sunny's grief. In my opinion, I think the song speaks more about Basil, because he showed more signs of desperation. Basil and Omori separated after Mari's death, and this really took a toll on Basil's psyche. They were best friends, and he desperately wanted their relationship to go back to the way it was. The motif of photos is used to put emphasis on the theme of memory in this game, to further feed into Basil and Sunny's yearning. Basil can be seen as a pale machine because he is both physically and emotionally frail, whilst he lacks a lot of agency to enact his will into the world throughout the game. It's always you and your friends having to go out of their way to help him after all. Also, considering that this video is already overanalyzing things, the pale machine could also be Basil's Polaroid camera. Cameras permanently store memories, so if Basil is fixated on those, it's only going to make him more lonely since he's unable to move on from that moment. Again, this video is incredibly speculative. And over! That's all I could find. I was really banking on be okay too. It's constantly said throughout Omori that everything is going to be okay for Sunny every time he has to face one of his fears. I thought that there was a connection there, but most of the lyrics didn't back this up too well. All I would have been able to say is that in Omori they say everything will be okay, and the song says, "We're gonna be okay." It's disappointing, I know. I really wanted there to be more. It would have been pretty cool if Bowen and Omocat secretly collaborated to make Pale Machine similar to Ruby OSTs, in the sense that they communicate their respective stories through music. It's kinda why I wanted to make this video. Plus, I didn't want to make episode 3 of Something Cursed, since that would have been 18 minutes long. I thought it would be cool to show you guys this connection, whether it was an intentional one or not. If you enjoyed it and thought that this video was pretty cool, please leave a like, and if you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike and comment on how the video could be improved. Shout out to James Doodles for the awesome thumbnail. I figured that this video needed a hand-drawn thumbnail considering the kinda hand-drawn aesthetic we get from the Omori title screen. His channel will be linked in the description. Also, I'm planning on getting a new avatar design made specifically for the release of the Matosehe no Slave video, so that's something to look forward to. Anyways, you know the drill. Hambagashle. And I'm nuzlocking Pokemon Fire Red for the 700th time, so if you want to catch me speaking with my live streaming speech impediment, follow me on Twitch at DumiLumLum TV. I couldn't. I was being an idiot and thought TV would be enough instead of TTV. Anyway, I'll be streaming near the end of November or the beginning of December. The details should be down below. Cheers!
Yeah, going 8 like nigga. Move out the way, please don't be a hero. Bling loud, she no skateboard P. Bling loud, she no skateboard P. Yeah.